is Eduardo Ortega, Technical Evangelist in Microsoft Golf. I'm the Technical Evangelist of Windows 8 and Windows Phone, and also the Windows 8 and Windows Phone application suite. It means that every application of this model is in this region last week, and I reviewed all of these applications to be sure that your applications are in the top for this region, and with that, be sure that we can help you to improve the design of your applications and the development issues you have during the process of developing this application. So, first of all, let me introduce what we are going to see today. We are going to see Windows 8 and Windows Phone. First, I'm going to explain you something about the platform regarding to developers. What's new in the platform, what you can do with Windows 8 and with Windows Phone from the developer and the designer perspective. And after this, I'm going to show you the tools that we have to create these applications. Tools that we will use as developers, as designers, as project managers. We have several tools for developers and designers, project managers, product teams, etc. And after that, when we complete the architecture of Windows Phone and Windows 8 tools, I'm going to show you some demos about how you can create applications very quick on both platforms, Windows Phone and Windows 8. But first, you need to know more about how is the platform, what you can do with Windows 8 and Windows Phone, and what are the differences between these two platforms. So let's go to start with the Windows 8 architecture. And first, I would like to talk about one very important thing we have. That is the new Windows RT or Windows runtime. Okay, we have the same name also for the Windows RT operating system. But in this case, we have a new runtime to run the new kind of applications that you can find in Windows. When you go to the start screen, this is the new start screen you will find on every Windows 8 device in any of the 4 Windows 8 versions we have. In this start screen, you have several apps that you can download only from the Windows Store, or you can deploy just internally in your organization with different kind of deployments, different ways to deploy your applications internally without going through Windows Store. But usually all of these applications are going to be downloaded from the Windows Store. Okay, also I have here some of the demos that I usually create with Visual Studio. I have here some applications, my favorite applications, my games. I'm a hardcore gamer, I love games, so I'm playing games in every travel I have to do in the airport. Also local applications, demo applications, lobby applications, kind of business applications, internal apps. And this is my start screen. If I go to the Windows Store, I can download more applications from my Windows. So these apps are the Windows RT apps, are based on the new Windows runtime. So it means that if you are going to create an application to use this app in tablet PCs or PCs with touch-enabled experience, you will find these applications on the Windows Store. That's why we created this new generation of applications on this platform. So we invested on a new runtime that is called WinRT. We also have a new experience, a new user experience. So many users are crazy about the new experience. You know that the first feedback I obtained from users is where I can find the start button in Windows. So this is the most common question you will find when you start using Windows 8. And they start playing at me, hey, you change this, the start button is not here, I can't find the applications, how can I just shut down my computer? And there is when the user needs to invest a few minutes just discovering how you can, okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. How you can use this experience. So in the end, this is like your Windows 7 natural desktop, your old-fashioned desktop for your applications that are running on Windows XP or Windows 7. It will run on Windows 8 in your desktop experience. But if you look for the start menu, it's not there. The start menu disappeared, and we change that by this start menu. This is your new start button. Okay, so when you click on the keyboard in the Windows key, you will open this new experience. And you can think, oh, this is so different, but in the end, it's the same. If you look for an application here, like for example, Office, you just click on your Windows 7, the Windows key, and start typing Office. Okay, and there you can find all the applications that are installed under the Office tab, the Office folder. You can search even inside the file that you have with Office, or you can search Office inside Wikipedia, or you can look for Office inside Bing, or Office inside. So it's an extended start button that we have here on Windows 8. So think that this is just your start button, but in a different way, because we need to provide this experience for touch-friendly devices. Okay, so that's why we changed the start button here. So we invested on a new user experience, a new application, app exhibition environment that I want to show you now, in the Windows Store. So this is the platform we have. So if you want just to create a typical .NET application with Silverlight, the .NET framework, okay, you can just open your Visual Studio and create application using C# or VB. That's all. Okay. If you want to create just an application with Win32, COM+, ATL, MSCF, or whatever, you have also the same templates you have in Visual Studio previous version. Or if you want to create just a website, HTML5, HTML4, with JavaScript or other scripting languages, HTML, web services, SharePoint is the same. And it's going to run in the same environment, like a desktop app. But if you want just to go further and work in the new kind of applications you can create, applications that are going to be deployed through Windows Store or internally in your companies, you have the Windows Store apps. And there is where you can, you just have to think on your favorite language. Because you don't want to learn a new language, you can use your knowledge to create these applications. You have here HTML5 applications and SAML applications. This is the UI of your application, how the application is created when you are designing the UI. So if I open one of these apps, for example, the Bing Travel application, here I have an image, here I have a control called preview with some elements inside. I have my flights, my 360 picture panorama pictures. I have news. You can click in one of these countries, for example, one random one, this one. Okay, and here you can find this experience, the local currency, the weather there, the introduction. So this is a very cool application, and this application was created using HTML5 and JavaScript with CSS3 for the styling and templating. So if I go now to my desktop again and I open the Task Manager, you can find here all the applications I have open. Here is new travel application that now is suspended. And if I go to the details of this application, I can see that it's using a process called www8host.x. It means that this application was created using HTML5 and JavaScript. So it's running in this sandbox because it's using the Internet Explorer component there. You don't lose performance with the application in HTML5 or C#. It's the same performance you will obtain. But in this case, this is the only way to know if this application was created using HTML5. If I run other app, I run, for example, Golf News. Okay. I want to analyze the language that I used to create this application. Okay, in the meantime, I can just use the application there and go back here. I can go to processes. I can see that here I have Golf News. Still loading. Let me try again, because this application is using Wi-Fi, and Wi-Fi here is not so good today. So Golf News here, try again. And in the meantime, we can try with another one, with SARAPG, for example. When you are running these apps, okay, this is working now, I can go back to my desktop, and you can see here SARAPG. I don't know what happened today with Good News, maybe the service is down. SARAPG application is running now on the memory. After 5 seconds it's going to be suspended. I'm going to talk about now about the application life cycle. Right click here, go to details, and here you already have SARAPG final.x. So this is the process of this application. This application was created using C# and SAML. So going back to the slides, the way to create these applications is just choose your favorite language. If you are a web designer or a web developer and you are an expert on JavaScript or HTML5, you can go and use HTML5, CSS3 for the UI and JavaScript in this case for the code behind. But if you want to create an application using your favorite language, that is C# or for example C++, you can use SAML to design the UI of your application and use your favorite language for the code. The APIs, when you want to use the methods you have in your APIs to access the camera or NFC or location or Wi-Fi or whatever, in this case, the APIs are common APIs for any language or any technology. So this brings you the possibility to create the same application with the same controls and the same APIs, but choosing your favorite language for your team. Okay? So this is the platform we have on Windows 10. It means that if I create, for example, now an application, let me show you Visual Studio 2012. I want to create a new app, new project. Okay. And now when I create a project, you can see that I can use, for example, my favorite language is C# or other languages here. When I'm choosing the C#, I have the new Windows Store apps, or I have the typical Windows, Web, Cloud, SharePoint, WCF, Silverlight applications, as in Visual Studio 2010 or previous versions. So if I click in the Windows Store, I can create one of these applications, for example, the Grid app. Okay. And this is the default template you will find when you create an application with the Grid app template for Windows Store apps. By the way, I want to show you one application, very special application for me. It's called Just Search. This application is, you can download this application from the Windows Store. You can see here your favorite search, for example, this cake. You can go to the previous one. You can see here the recipe for this cake, and you can click on the group of the most popular, and you can see all the cakes here and choose one of these. This is a nice application, a very easy one. It's not very spectacular, but this application was created only in 2 hours of effort with Visual Studio. Why? Because if I go back to Visual Studio and I run the default application I have here, you can see that the pages I have in this app, I have my Windows, my C# Windows Store app with 1, 2, 3 pages. Okay, the landing page, the group page, and the items page. And I can see that these pages are quite similar to the application that we just see there. Right? I can run the application on my local machine, and this is the default application I have. If I change to the previous one, okay, let me change here to the previous one, this one, it's suspiciously quite similar, right? Even I have 5 elements in the first group. I can click here and go to the details. Okay, I can go here and go to the group. So this application is using the default template you have for any Windows Store app. You just need to go there, change the sample that you have, and in less than 1 or 2 hours you can have this application from the Windows Store. This application, I downloaded this application from the Windows Store. It's available there. You can look for that. It's just the search. And with Fear 4, you can create just the same application, very big, but instead of cakes, for example, football players, hotels, countries, whatever you want. So it's a cool experience, right? So this is C#. This is the UI of the application. Okay, this is the UI. I can design whatever I want here. I want to show you later. 1, 2, we have 4 designers. Okay, specifically 4 designers for design this. But now I want to go to the go behind. If I go to the go behind, you can see that this is C# syntax. C# syntax. Okay, it means that I can develop my application just writing code there in my favorite language, that is C#. But if I add to my project another project, in this case a C++ project, other languages, C++, and Windows Store applications, I can have the same application there. So the code that we are using to define the UI, the design of the application, is called SAML. It's based on XML tags, where you can define your controls with the name of the control and with the attributes, the properties of the control. And in this case, in C++, all the UI, this is C# and this is the C++ project, all the UI is defined in the same way. So I can go here, this page. Let me build the project first. And the SAML code that you can find on C# or VB or C++ is going to be the same. Or even if you go, you will see later, to Windows Phone devices, you can reuse this same SAML code because it's the same code you will find in Windows 8. We are using a common language to design the UI of our applications. Okay, so this is the app in C++. I can run application from here. the parallel application starting instance, and the same app, but in this case in C++. But to develop the code behind, if you go here to your code behind in your designer, you code, you can find that you are using C++ or VB or C or C# or JavaScript. So you can define what favorite language you want to use to write the code for your app. But the design is the same, and the APIs and the namespaces are the same in all of them. So this is the architecture we have. Okay, these are the APIs that you can find on the new Windows runtime. You can see that we have this similar API that we find on .NET Framework, but are here in Windows runtime. You have, for example, for geolocation, you have the geolocator and geoposition object. You can control sensors like the accelerometer, the gyro, the magnetometer, the light sensor. You can access to the NFC chipset, okay, to do the NFC transactions, or Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, or even if you want just to take pictures with your camera, or just draw on the camera viewport. You have APIs for everything there. Okay, in the end, this is like an evolution of the API you had before, but for the new Windows runtime. All of them, I repeat, are available and are the same APIs for any language. The execution environment of the application is the same. First, you have to download the application from the Windows Store, or you have to create a package of your app, and you can distribute it internally through different processes that I want to show you later in the last session. Okay? When you download the application from the Windows Store, you can download the application for one user or for several users. Here, I'm using just my Windows 8. This is my Microsoft user, and this is my Hotmail user. I have this user configured in 5 different computers. This one, another one at home, at the PC, and in my TV as well. Okay, so I can use the same user in every computer I have, at the maximum of 5 computers, and I can have the same applications in every device, and the same configuration as well. But here, I can have multiple users. But what about if I use download, for example, the Wikipedia application? If I download the Wikipedia application, and you download the Wikipedia application in the same computer, you don't have to download the application twice. You download the application once, and you have the different settings and local files for every user attached to that application. This is how you can acquire the application from the Windows Store. Okay. So this is the typical package you will find when you compile your application. You are going to create a package called AppX package. This is the whole package you will find, and this is the package that you should upload to the Windows Store when you want to publish an application as publisher. Okay? So here you have the files and assets, the manifest of the app that is defining which features of the hardware you want to enable for this application, and some other files. If you just rename this to set IP, you can just uncompress the content and you can see all the files inside. Okay, but no worries about the code you have inside, because once you publish this application in the Windows Store, there the application is encrypted and ciphered. So you don't need to, for example, obfuscate your code, okay? Because no one can download this application from there and access to your code, because it's already ciphered and it's signed with a security certificate on that process. This is the process isolation. It means that you can't access from one application to other application. Okay, the only way to do it is using contracts. I'm going to show you some contracts later. Okay, so you have your application, you have your local storage here, local storage and roaming storage. It means that if I have 2 computers, this computer and this other computer, and I'm using the same user in both of them, and I'm using the same application, I can change something in my application here, and automatically the changes will be reflected in this other computer in the same application instantaneously. Why? Because I can use a roaming folder here. I'm going to use my SkyDrive account that is attached to my user. Okay, every user that you can configure here is using a SkyDrive account with default 7 GB of storage or 20 GB of storage, depending on where you created this, when you created this user. And you can use your roaming folder to store the settings of your applications. and play with some computers at the same time and refresh the changes in all of them. Okay? So local stories, temporary stories, and roaming stories. And if you want to access to the operating system, like for example the camera or the audio, you need to use direct APIs to call them as usual, or you can use some brokers to open, for example, your file explorer and play with your file system there. You can just enable or disable these capabilities inside your application. I will show you later in one demo. This is how your application is working on the memory. This is so important. Why? When you are running desktop applications, you can run multiple applications at the same time in multi-process. Okay, it's the normal way to work with applications in Windows 7 or Windows XP. But if you want to run a Windows Store app, like one of these applications you can see here, for example, the Bing News application. This application is running now. If I go back to my desktop, or I just change to another application, the application now is suspended. Okay, I can go to processes, and I can search for news. Now it's running. Wait 2 seconds. Okay, so Media, news. It's taking a few, and now it's suspended. Why? Because you are not using this application, so you don't need to have this application running on the background because it's just wasting your battery life. So the way to work with these applications is you can have one application running at the same time, maximum 2 applications using the snap view you can see on the edges of the screen. Okay, and when you want to jump to another application, this application is suspended. It's still in memory, so I can resume it very, very quickly. I go here, and the application is there. Okay, it's never closed. But this is the way to work with these apps. If I go back to the slides, you can see the process that I follow in there. You have you launch your application. The application is running now on the system. So now I change to another app. Okay, the application is suspended. So now it's in this red process here. And you have here 5 seconds, and in these 5 seconds you can save the change of your app and resume the application again, loading the changes. This is so important. Why? Because sometimes your application is not going to be suspended. Maybe the application is going to be closed. Because imagine that you need to run another application, and you need to run Need for Speed Underground, okay, and play with that. You require maybe 1 or 2 gigabytes of memory to run this game. And you need to play with that, and you can't show a message on the screen to the user that, hey man, I can run this application because you don't have enough memory. So you can. So the system in this case is going to look into the processes you have open, suspended in this case, and it's going to close these processes to allow you to run the new application there. So that's why it's so important to save here in the suspending event in your application the information you have in the app in that moment. Imagine that you are filling a form with 100 different text boxes. Okay? You are filling that, and suddenly you suspend the application, and when you go back, the application is not there because it was closed. In this case, you need to run the application again and load the application in the same state you had the application when you left it. So here you have to save your data, unload your data. If the application is closed because we have low resources in the system, the application is terminated, but we don't know if the application was terminated. So this is the natural process we should follow when we are running Windows 8 applications. Okay? Okay. So just to finish this part, you have to distinguish between application data and user data. You can store for your application settings, files, or the state of your session, or in other hand, you can just manage the local libraries you have from inside your application, like documents, photos, music, and videos. So if you want to store local data, you have several options. Use your local folder for that application. It's only accessible for that application. And there you can save files, you can save settings, like the typical registry of Windows with key and values pairs. And also you can store, for example, databases. You can use SQLite, for example. If you have your application, for example, in other platforms as well, and maybe you are using SQLite because it's open source. So you can use SQLite as well as local repository for your application. Okay, and you can use this local repository to synchronize the information from another database as well. Let me continue with this because we need to make the session shorter. We are going to end the session in 10 minutes, right? Okay, and I start the next one around 30. Okay, so these are some of the recommendations that you will find when you are creating a Windows 8 app. Okay, first, leveraging the new design we have for these applications. We created a new design, and we are focused only in the information and the photos and the videos you have, not in other things that are useless for your application and for the user. Try to be fast and fluid using the animations that I want to show you how to do. Okay, because you have implicit animations in Windows 8 apps and in Windows Phone apps, and you just need to activate them or deactivate them. These animations, this is an animation when I load in this screen. This is also an animation. Okay, this is also an animation. And this is already there in your Visual Studio. It means only to click in 1, 2, 3 checkboxes in your Visual Studio, and you can find the same animations in your application. Invest time, use the right contracts. I'm going to go for that later. Invest in a great type. This is so important for you. The types that you can see here is your face. It means that you can see what's happening inside your application even if the application is closed. You don't need to enter in the app to see what's happening there. I can see the latest news here. I can see now the current weather I have in Dubai. I can see that I have 15 unread emails on my inbox. Or I can see, for example, the last message on the wall on Facebook, one of my colleagues is there. So you don't need to enter in the app to see what's happening, and it saves you time to see what you want to see in that moment. And for that, we have several templates for square tiles, for large tiles, and you can modify these tiles from inside your application, from a service in the system, or for notifications in the cloud. So you can change this tile all the time. Well, let me show you an example. Okay, first about the design language. About the design language, we're using a language where we are focused only in the content. As you can see there, we are only focused on the images I want to show you here, the data, for example, for my stocks. Or for example, the web, only focus on the content. You can enhance this with images, with videos, with some decorative effects here, but you should focus yourself only in the information there. It's so important in this kind of design. Also, it makes your application bright more with other applications. In this new design, as well, you can see that you can use first high definition videos, high definition images, and you can scale your application for different screen sizes. Here I'm using this computer and you can see my resolution here. But if I go to a 60 inches TV, I can have the same application running there, but with different assets. So you design the application only once, okay, only once, with two assets, low definition or low definition resources and high definition resources, and automatically your application will choose one or the other, depending on the screen size of your application. So you have to think about that as well when you are designing the app. Your branding is so important here. You can use your branding in live tiles. Okay, in these live tiles you can see here. You can use your branding in the splash screen as well when the application is starting. In those notifications, in the header of the app, in the Windows Store. This is so important for you. Regarding to the Windows Store, you have different ways to publish your application. I want to just make you a brief overview. First, you can publish application totally free. You can get money from this application. You will obtain the 70% for every sale and the 30% is for Microsoft and the services you have inside, because you should follow a publication process. It's not like in Google that you can just upload your application and that's all. It's more like the model you have, for example, in iOS. In iPhone, you should follow a process of publication. Here is the same. If you obtain more than 25K of revenue, you obtain the 80% for every sale you do. You can also get extra revenue from in-app purchasing. You can use Microsoft advertising, or you can use also your custom advertising as well and get 100% of every advertising. So you have similar models there. And for that, we have also a system of trial where you can activate your application to be downloaded only for 30 days, or 15 days, or 90 days. So I can download the application here, and just instead to use the budget, you can use try it. You download the same application here, but after 30 days, the application will disappear. Okay? So you can do that. You don't have to implement anything on your code. Your code is only one line of code where you can just check if the application was downloaded using the trial or the budget. If this application is trial, then this or that, and that's all. Because Mark is the Windows Store who is going to sign your application with one trial certificate or with a full package certificate when you download the application from there. The lifestyles, we have around 16 or 14 different templates for the square ones and for the large ones. In these templates, you can choose, for example, to have images and text, or just images, or some images cycling on your screen, like 9 images cycling all the time, or just only text. You can have also these two screen sizes, or tile sizes. I can, for example, click here and choose this other size. Okay. And this is a specific template that I'm using for this type, for the large style or for the square type. So this is the way to have your brand here. Try to focus attention to the user on your brand or on the information he needs to see on the screen. The those notifications as well. If you receive a push notification for your application, it will appear on the screen like these ones. And if you click there, like for example, your download is complete, you can click there and open the application just on that screen that you are looking for. Okay, so you can specify in which part of the screen of your application you want to jump when you click in the notifications there. As well, in the tiles, this is for example the Contour Cookbook application. Okay, this is an application that you can create because it's inside the Microsoft Handle Labs for Windows 8. You have step by step how to create this application. So when you are inside this app, you can pin one of these recipes to the start screen. Okay, go back here, you will find here the recipe. Let's go to it here. For example, here. And now, as you can see, I have my main point or access point for this application. This is the entry point for my app. I have secondary live tiles attached to my application. If I click in this tile, right here, I will open the application just in that page and not in the main page. So you can create your live tiles and extend these features for your app. The snap view is so important if you want to have two applications running at the same time. For example, my favorite, I usually open I usually travel a lot, so I want to stay in touch with all my friends. So I just use the messaging application here that is synchronized with Facebook and Messenger and Skype. And I can open another application on the right, like for example, Keyboard. Okay, and you can just stay here talking with your friends or with your wife or wherever. Okay, and also you can extend this view. You can change that. So here your application is going to be adapted to the split screen, okay, with snap view, full view, or field view. And when you are designing your app, you should follow the patterns to create your application in these three experiences: in the snap, in the field, and in the full view. It's already inside Visual Studio and Blend. I will show you how to do it. Okay. Some examples. For example, you can watch here a video at the same time browsing in the internet. And also you have the contracts. The contracts are so important because first are already there in the system, but you can use these contracts for your application. If you go to the right top right corner of your screen with your mouse, or just with your finger, you swipe on the right edge of the screen, you will open here the channels bar. You can search inside the whole list of applications you have in your operating system. You can go, for example, to Microsoft Expression. I have all my applications here. So you can search, like, for example, Kuwait. Inside the applications I have installed on my computer. You can search inside settings. I don't have anything in settings on my computer with that name. Or I can search inside files. I can search inside Windows Store. I will search for Kuwait applications in the Windows Store. Or for Bing. And in Bing you will find the results for Kuwait. Or inside your application. What about if your application is getting or upsetting searches inside? So you should just create an app and activate inside the app the search contract. And you can search inside your application. Okay? Or you can search information. The search is the other tab you have. If I open Wikipedia, I can open Microsoft Office information in Wikipedia, and I can search the information I have with other applications. Search, and here I have a list of applications that allows to get information from other apps that have the search contract enabled. I can search with Mail. Okay, imagine that Mail is your application, and Mail in this case is accepting Microsoft Wikipedia, a snapshot of that, and the link for that. So you can, in your code, say, I want to search this, this, and that, or I want to accept this, this, or that. Okay, just using the search contract. And the other contracts we have here are also so important. I have, let me open, for example, Adobe. I have some documents here, and I want just to print this document, okay? So I can use the devices, and here I will find the list of printers I have installed on this computer, or network printers. And also I have secondary screen. I just can project this application in a secondary screen or a television that is using, for example, DLNA technology. So I can just share this with different devices. So this is more or less what we have when we talk about the charts. Okay, the search, the share devices, and settings that I will show you later what's that with a demo. So here you have the search contract, the search contract, the devices, and in the end, this is Windows 8 for developers. What you can do as a developer on Windows 8 and as designer on Windows 8. Okay, you have a new UI. You can just reuse these concepts and these design patterns inside your applications. I will show you some tricks on how to create these very nice experiences just with few effort and not using your mouse. Okay, you have also a new Windows Store where you can deploy your applications there and get revenue from that. But just use this like your open door to just go there to the Windows Store and show everybody that you have an application there, information about your company, information about one product. So you can use this like your own marketing site as well. You have new development models with HTML5, CSS3, and JavaScript, or with XAML and typical languages you use. We have a design for multiple screens, Okay. So now what we are going to do is I'm going to jump to the next session. We are going to do the session together with the Windows Phone 8 session because we are out of time. So I'm going to start with the Windows Phone 8 session. You will find that there are several concepts and technologies that are the same on both platforms. Because you know that Microsoft is trying to convert to a only one platform. So by now, Windows 8 and Windows Phone are using the same kernel, the same file system, the same APIs, but still you will find some differences. For example, some specific controls that are for small devices, and some specific controls that are for big devices, like Windows 8 devices. But only few of them. I can say that 90% of the platform is compatible among Windows 8 and Windows Phone. And also I want to show you what's new in Windows Phone 8 for developers. So let's go to jump to the second session. And the first thing is when you develop an application, you are developing an application not only for Windows, but also for Windows Phone. First, because the designer tools and the development tools are the same. The API that you will use will be the same, okay? And also, the experience you will find in both of them are the same. So you just learn how to design an application on one platform, and you can do the same on the next platform. Or even I can just copy and paste the code in 2 different projects, and it's running this code. Okay, you will see how to do it. And I will show you just what specific APIs are only exclusive for one platform or for the other, because they are obviously not compatible. Okay, but there are few specific APIs that are only for every device. We are using the same user experience. You go to Windows Phone 8, you can find the same experience on Windows 8 as well. Here we are using not only the large and the square tiles, we have also the iconic ones, the smallest ones, these ones. You have the small, you have the normal, you have also the large one. But it's the same as in Windows 8. In Windows Mobile 6 and Windows Mobile 6.1, 6.5, we were using Windows CE 5 as kernel. In Windows Phone 7 and Windows Phone 7.5, our kernel was Windows CE 6. And now we have a new kernel in the operating system that is the same kernel that we are using on Windows 8. It means that you can reuse your code, your libraries, and your efforts on one platform to create the same application but in the other platform. Maybe how much it's going to cost you? 1 more week, 1 extra week? Because obviously you have to design for different screen size and form factor, okay? But in the end it's going to be the same application. So this is the core we have now. The experiences. We are using the same Internet Explorer. If I go to Windows 8 now, I can open my Internet Explorer here on the desktop view, or the Internet Explorer you have for touchable devices that is in your start screen. But it's the same Internet Explorer, but only for touchable. So this is the Internet Explorer. Then it's based on HTML5 completely. It means first that you don't have any plugin installed in it. So you have an application and you try to run the application here, the application will run. Okay, but there are some applications that you are developing that are using, for example, the Java runtime machine with some ActiveX components and Flash components as well. It means that the application is not going to run here because you need to install these plugins. Because by default we don't have any plugin installed in Internet Explorer. And it's the same Internet Explorer you will find on Windows Phone devices as well. It's not an Internet Explorer mobile version. It's the same Internet Explorer we have in this device. Okay, it's the same one. Also, the lifestyles, notifications that we have on Windows 8 are the same on Windows Phone, but with different screen sizes. The tools are the same as well. We have Visual Studio 2012 with the different versions we have, and you have Expression Blend for Visual Studio included as a new tool with Visual Studio. Okay, it's not an extra feature, it's included with that. And it's the same model of development and design applications for both platforms. Okay, let me continue with this because I need to show you more things here inside Visual Studio but later. You have also the chance to create your own company hub. Imagine that you want to create your applications inside your organization, but you don't want to deploy applications in the Windows Phone store. Okay? You don't want to make those applications public or visible in the Windows Phone store. You can create your own company hub, and inside the company hub, you can have the internal applications that you are using. Here you can see even if you have new updates for this application, you can distribute this application to all the phone devices with different deployment systems. But this is for you the main place where you have to go to see what's happening inside your analysis. My expenses, my customers, access to the services, access to the what's queue, the main report that I have. So this is this is an example of a company hub. You can create your custom company hub for Windows Phone, and this is the best way to create these applications there. One question?
Where can I host this?
Where you can? You can host these apps. Usually you should use or Windows Intune or System Center, the device manager, or you can use, for example, your own repository in your organization and use that to distribute applications from there. So different ways to do it. Also, this is totally customizable. It's an API that you can use to create create this photos hub, and there you can just access to your SharePoint and get from there your documents, or access to a local repository and get from there the applications, or you can just host this in your accredited domain and enable also the GPO you want to use for your devices as well, and for deployment is included there. Okay, so this is a way to do it. Also, you can integrate your apps with different services, with web services, with websites, with databases. Windows Phone is using by default SQL CE version, SQL Server Compact Edition, but also you can install SQLite, for example, as well, or other kind of databases. Okay. Also, even Windows 8 or Windows Phone has a full compatibility integration with Azure, of course, and here are some ways to distribute applications, for example. If you use, for example, System Center, it's so cool for you if you have a very huge number of devices. When you have 2,000 devices, and not only Windows Phone devices, you have also other kind of devices, not from Microsoft. Okay, you can from there manage all the devices you have and see where is this device, the applications you have installed on that, apply some security policies there as well. So that's why we have the System Center there. In the end, we are using the same core from Windows 8 and for Windows Phone. Okay, the same managed component, the same C++ component. This is so important because this is the only part. This is the only part that we have 100% compatible. 100% compatible. It means that if you create an application in C++, for example, a game that is using DirectX 11, okay, and you have this game written on C++, you can just have the same code, the same game, and the same project, okay, running for Windows Phone, for Windows 8, and for Xbox. So this is totally compatible in this point, but the other components are not 100% compatible because I told you, you have a specific APIs for phone or specific APIs for Windows 8.
But you can use the portable libraries.
Yeah, that's
completely the same for all.
If you use a portable library, you can use all your business logic inside the portable library, and you don't have to write the code in this application. So you can use the portable library to every project you have.
And another thing here about the graphics itself. For example, you said that we need to take care of concern about the design when we go for Windows 8 tablets or laptop or Windows Phone.
Yes.
The size of the screen or the resolution itself is a vector graphic or a dot graphic. Here we are talking about the application. Is it a vector or a dot?
When you are using, by default, you are using images This question is what's happening if you want to rescale the application from 10 inches devices to 26 inches devices?
Well, the same. For example, design an application for a Windows mobile, and that Windows mobile we have different screen size. So what do I do?
What you can do is by default, you can have your folder of assets with your resources, with the low definition resources, another one with high definition resources. And depending on the screen resolution that you're going to use, you can use one or you can use the other one. So that's the way to do it. But the design of the app is going to be the same, and also it's going to rescale everything by hardware, and also it's going to rearrange the elements on the screen automatically with different distribution if you are going to use a 10-inch device or 28-inch device. I can put you a very quick example about that. You remember the application I created before with Windows 8? In Windows Phone 8 is the same. If you create an app here, and you find new project, for example, this one, okay? Because I have several items here. So I run the app, and the app is my local machine. Okay, 1, 2, 3 rows of elements here. So now I can run this application not in this screen resolution and this machine, but in another one. So instead to run this in a local machine, I can use the simulator, and we are going to cover it a bit later. But the simulator, let me write there. You can specify the screen size that you want to use there and the resolution, and see what's happening there. In the images, you will choose the low definition or high definition resolution. Based on the resolution.
Based on the size.
And based on the size, it's going to rescale everything. Let me show you how. So Now it's running the emulator, so it's in my other screen. Here. Let me rotate it. So this is the same app I have running on my local host, but now you have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of elements here in my application, because now I'm using a simulation of a 20 inches TV with this resolution here. If I change that to another resolution, like for example 10 inches, with another kind of resolution, because this means that the size of the screen and also the resolution of the screen that is different. Okay? So that's why the simulator is so important to use when you are deploying your app, because you need to check how the application is going to be solved with different screen sizes and different resolutions as well. Take it apply. In the meantime, you can see this other one. Okay, 1, 2, 3 lines, elements here. You can snap the view here. This is by default in the template as well. And also this will be re-escalated as well when you use different screen sizes. And we go back here, the simulator, and you can see now that they have different distribution, and also I can rotate this, and you will find different distribution in portrait, because by default it's supporting portrait and landscape. But redistribute the elements in a different way. Okay, wait for it. And also we change the size of the elements. You can specify the minimum size and the maximum size when you are designing the application. So you can play with that. Of course you have to do it. And you can also choose a high or low resources when you are designing for different screen sizes. So it takes a while to change the resolution here, but now you can see this is the portrait mode with this screen size, and you can use that for another different resolution. My advice is to design the application. Try the application on your computer, and sometimes just deploy the application in other device or in the simulator to see if you are in the correct way. Okay? Because sometimes you are designing your app and you don't take care about the sizes. Instead of use absolute sizes, you should use automatic sizes or proportional sizes to redistribute the elements inside. You can also have here another option called remote machine, where you can deploy the application directly on a tablet PC or another Windows 8 device that is hosted in the same Wi-Fi. Only with that, you can run the application with remote map there and play with that and see the experience you find out. Okay, if you want now to a 60 inches TV or 80 inches TV, you can run the same app, but it will redistribute the elements there. For example, with 14 rows of elements and different number of columns or elements for every column. So this is the way to work with this device. So you need to just design one application, and it's working in every device. But take care, you're using fixed sizes, like 100 by 100. Of course, there you need to adapt this when you use sizes, using automatic sizes or proportional sizes.
But for scaling and rotations, is it something we control it or it's controlled by the machine itself?
You can control it. You have events that you can also manage. You can handle some events and see when you are rotating the screen, or even you can lock the screen to don't rotate that. You can play with landscape or with portrait or with both of them.
And can deal with the vector-based graphics? So I don't need to deal with the sizing.
Of course. You also have, I will show you in the next session, with Windows Phone you can create vector graphics, and you can rescale it as well by hardware when you are extending this to another screen size. So you have vector graphics and you have also images. Let me continue first because I have several things to tell you. But we are going to cover some of these parts later in the next sessions. So the programming model is going to be the same in both of them. You can choose between C#, VB, okay, or use SAML, for example, for the UI. The only thing that you can do on Windows Phone is create native HTML5 applications. You can have an HTML5 page and you can render that on Windows Phone because it's the same Internet Explorer, but you can't create a native HTML5 application. In Windows 8 you can, but in Windows 10, right now it's a limitation we have. Okay, but you have an HTML5 page, you can use this page there as well. So 8 big things that you should know about Windows Phone 8 for the platform. First, the hardware. By default, you will find in several ports here in this region you have Nokia devices. But there are other devices from other OEMs, okay? Not only Nokia is deploying these devices. So this is the typical Windows 8 you will find. You have also HTC, and you have, depending on the country, the distribution for the OEM is different. But you have several devices, okay? Even Samsung is working on that, or even Qualcomm, okay? So, but the most important for you is every device with a minimum requirements for hardware can run Windows Phone 8. And the hardware basically is this one. Okay, it has to support multi-core, okay, multi-core in the phone, 2, 4, 8 cores. Okay, by default the previous version is 1 core only, and the new phones are coming with 2 cores by default. All of them are using micro SD support. So if you want to extend the memory of your phone, you can just buy a 64 gigabytes extra memory card, and you can just plug in there. And as well on Windows 8, Windows 8 and Windows Phone can extend the memory just using a micro SD card. And on Windows Phone, this is the only requisite we have. We have 3 only different screen sizes, okay? Screen sizes and resolutions. Then we have WBA or XAA at 720p. Means that your application is going to run only in these 3 screen sizes. But Windows 8, we don't have any limitation. Can run in any screen size with any resolution. But Windows Phone, those are the screen sizes. Let me continue with this here. So it means that when you are using your application on WBA and you want to run the same application in 720p, everything is going to be slightly by hardware. Okay, and this is the scale resolution you will find there by default. Okay, but of course with higher definition. Okay, so everything is the same in WBA and WXAA, but in the 720p, for example, your application has 53 extra pixels, so you will find a black rectangle on the top or on the bottom of the screen filling this space. Or you can just create your application to extend it to the whole page, the full page, and occupy this space as well. Okay, so this is so important for designers to use containers for your controls that can be expanded to the full screen. Not absolute sizes, but automatic sizes. The Internet Explorer we are using here is is 4 times faster than the previous one we have in terms of Java runtime, and we are supporting twice the number of features that we have in HTML5. You know HTML5 is a standard that is not finished, okay, but Microsoft is working with this standard as well, so we are implementing several features there, and it's very nice. Both of them, Internet Explorer for desktop or phone, is using the Smart Screen Anti-Phishing filter to avoid you to enter inappropriate sites or with sites with viruses or malware or whatever. Okay. For gamers, good news, very good news. You can create the same game for 3 platforms: Windows 8, Windows Phone, and Xbox. Just creating the game with DirectX technology and with C++. But if you are not a hardcore developer, because you know that this is very difficult, right? It's Win32 methodology of programming with DirectX plus C++. So not everybody knows how to do it. In this case, you can use one of the engines that we are preparing for this platform. You have some of them already in the market. You have GameMaker, you have Marmalade. Okay, we are working in Unity as well. Create games very, very easy, just with your mouse and with the scripted languages. I'm going to just create from scratch and applications with this game on this platform. If you look now for the Windows Store, I love games. I can tell you everything about games. And the last game I downloaded was this one. It's House of Sagan. This game is a pure multi-platform game. It means that you can start playing here in Windows 8 and save your game and go to the bus and continue playing to the same game with your same game there on the phone. Just save your game there again, go at home and continue playing your game on your Xbox. So it's a real multi-screen and multi-platform game. It's called Sagan. You can download it and play with that if you want. But I have to continue the talk. I don't have time for break yet. So for speeds, everybody is crazy about CD in iPhone. oh, my city is very cool, I spent a weekend with city, I went to Singapore with city and I were just having a dinner in this restaurant, so city is cool. But in Windows Phone 8 and Windows Phone 7, we have also voice commands that you can use. Okay, you have also voice recognition, you have text-to-speech and speech-to-text from Windows Phone 7 3 years ago. But it's now when, as developers, you can access to these APIs and play with them. With your voice, you can play with your applications. You can also as well open your app with different commands, and depending what you say, the application will open different pages or different content. You have free speech as well that you can capture inside your application and play with that. So I can say, hey, I want to open the news application. The application is going to be open just in the part you want, for example, the sports news. And once you are there with your voice, you can say, just play the video number 2. And it will play the video number 2. And after that, you have a friend, you can get your phone and just tap with your phone in the other phone and just send the video to your friend. Just using NFC technology. That as a developer also as well, you have this chance, this possibility. So, we need to inside our phone to just store our credit cards. You know Google Wallet, right? It's quite similar than that. You can store your credit cards there, your loyalty membership cards, your discounts, your coupons, and you can use these from your phone to a website or just to pay with your phone on a shop that is using NFC payments as well. Or you just can integrate from your application different discounts, virtual coins, discounts, or buy inside websites. If you want to buy, for example, an email from your phone, you can do it with your credit card. Just type there your numbers, your credit card numbers, and you can have your credit card there. You can think that this is not very secure, because you can think, oh, maybe I can lose my phone and everyone can pay with my phone. Well, when I arrived to this country 4 months ago, I'm new in this area, they gave me a credit card, and when I asked about the PIN number for the credit card, they told me, no, we don't have a PIN number here, you just have your magnetic pad in your credit card and you can pay with that. So my question was, what about if I lost my credit card? If I lose my credit card, anyone can get the credit card and pay with that and buy, for example, a car. Okay? And they told me, yes, but these things doesn't happen here in Gold. So it's a very secure place to live. So I said, yes, if I go to Spain and I just drop there my wallet, when I do this, the wallet is not there. So someone can steal my wallet and pay with my credit card. Here you can use your credit card there. You need first a PIN number to unlock your phone, and second, to use the credit card inside your phone. You can use an extra PIN number there and set up your own PIN number, and every time you want to pay, you need to use the PIN number there. And also the phone, everything is encrypted inside with IS 128 certificate of security, so everything is totally secure inside the phone. And also as a developer, you have the chance to go to the Wallet API and pay with that inside your application. Bills, membership cards, discounts, whatever you need. But the best part for me on these devices, and I love it, is Nokia. Nokia Maps. It's available in every device, not only in Nokia devices. Okay, you have, for example, an HTC 8X, you have also Nokia Maps there as well. Okay, Nokia Maps is just a control that you can just drag and drop inside your application, or it's inside the operating system. You can use Nokia Maps there. The best thing here is that you don't need to have internet connection to navigate inside your maps. So now if you want to come with me to Spain for 1 week, you can go there, download in your phone the Spanish map. Okay, it's huge, so save memory for that, please. And once you have the map downloaded in your phone, you can access the map and navigate inside the map, even if you don't have internet connection. You can use, for example, turn-by-turn directions for tracking. You can go from one point to the other point, and with a list of directions in the middle that you should follow to arrive at your destination. You can also have voices that you can use for your phones. You have different layouts, like typical area, hybrid. You have another 2 different views for your phone, and also night view and light view for the daylight. And you have as well 3D models, pedestrian routes, car routes, boat routes, and everything is inside your phones. So as a developer, you can just drag and drop the map control there and start playing with the map. Okay, create your push speeds, create your routes, create whatever you want, and it's inside every phone. And the most important, it's free. So please use it. And to complete this picture, we have pictures and lenses. With pictures and lenses, you can create your own lenses for your viewport of the camera. Imagine that you open the camera view, just click in 2 seconds the camera button, and you just take a photo. In the photo on the right, you can see several settings. And in these settings, you can apply different filters. So what about if you can create specific filters for that? You can create your panoramic filter to just take panoramic views. You can also use the night vision filter or the blurry vision, or you can just play with the viewport of the camera. So you can create an application that is going to use the viewport of the camera. It's called Lenses, and it's also available for every device with Windows Phone. And the start screen, as in Windows 8, is the same experience. You have your small, normal, and large styles that you can customize with text. You can have also as well the front part of the tile and the back part, and you can have your tile flipping on the screen. And to modify this information, the same inside your app, or in a background service on the phone, or from push notifications from the internet, from the cloud. And different ways to modify this light. And this for us, for Microsoft, for users, is the most important. The lifetime you have in your phone, even more sometimes than the application. I have some applications that I really need to enter never there. Like for example, the weather application. I can see the weather, and I don't need to enter in the weather app because it's already there in the time. Okay, the weather, with the image, and with the temperature for that day. And to finish this session, I think we are going to finish on time because I'm talking very quick, right? And the development path for improvements. First, imagine that you want to create your application like a Skype application. Okay? In this case, we enabled a new way to communicate with OIP channels. So it means that you can have one application just listening at an OIP channel, and you can create your app to use that like a channel integrated in the operating system and not like an application. So for example, now, if you use an experience like this, you can have an incoming call from Skype, but you don't need to have the Skype application open. Okay? In this case, it's like a normal call. It's using a OIP channel there. You have several background agents that you can use for OIP. And you are receiving the call there. You can play with the call, you can change from here to this view, you can navigate by internet, you can send SMS in the meantime, and this is like a normal call because you are using a OIP channel. We have one limitation, that is you can only have one OIP channel open in your phone. So you have 3 applications, you have to deal with that. Okay, but on your phone, you can use that in your applications if you want. If you want to play the next Viber or the next Skype, please do it because you have this chance on Windows Phone. So for me, the last version was a nightmare to have Skype open. And suddenly I just click on the start screen and the application disappeared from there and the call was cancelled. But here, you can just maintain the conversation there, okay, with OIP. And also, it allows video. So this is cool, but you can do more things on Windows Phone. You can also, for example, integrate searches inside your application. You can use deep linking. This is for inside your app when you click, for example, in a text string with a phone number. When you click in the phone number, from there you can open the Skype application and call to this phone number. When you click in just the name of the one guy you have in your application, the name, you can click there and deep link this with the Facebook application or with your contacts, so you can link your application with different applications with deep linking. You can also use launchers. I'm going to show you a demo later about how to just with 2 lines of code, for example, send an SMS, make a call, just locate, for example, restaurants in the map near to you, or for example, use your address, your address book of your contacts, or for example, how to open send an email just only with 1 or 2 lines of code. So this is the launchers. It's going to launch application from your system, from inside your application, and you can pass parameters to these launchers. Okay, question? No? Okay. So in the end, you can create all of these experiences in your applications. For me, the most important, I repeat, are the lifetimes, Okay. Also in the lock screen, you can also place there your icon and the notifications for your application. And if you want to create an app that is going to run some processes in the background, you can use the scheduled tasks or the background input. Okay. Imagine that you want to create an application for location. You want to track your location all the time when you are driving. And when you arrive at home, you want to see here the report of your trip. So there you can create a background agent for location, and all the time, just even if the location is closed, get your location. Okay, get your location. Get all the points every 5 minutes, for example, or every 30 minutes, and just trace the route after that on the map. Just to finish, I just finished the technical part. I want to show you just two things that are so important for you regarding to where you can offer your application. Because now we have a truly global operating system. There we can set our applications in any country in the world. This is the map we had some years ago. Okay, this is Windows Phone 7.0. So as consumer, if you try to get a Windows Phone 7.0 device here in this region, it was impossible. You had to go to one of these countries to buy it. Okay, we increased the coverage with Windows Phone 7.5 to all these countries, but now with Windows Phone 8, we have more than 180 countries. Okay, so for me this is so important. Why? First, because we are covering almost every country in the world with these devices, and second, I'm very proud of that. We are covering more countries that have 100 together by now. Let's see, next year. Maybe we'll have the countries we have there and start creating new communities. Okay, but for developers, this is, for me, was the main issue we have. As developers in this region in Windows Phone 7, if you wanted to create an application for the Windows Store, you couldn't do it. Okay, you had to open a developer account in one of these countries. Okay, you could come to Spain, I can just give you my address, and you could create an account there and publish your applications, even if they are applications for this region, but you have to publish these applications in the Spanish market or in the UK market. Okay, these countries are the countries we had in the previous versions, Windows Phone 7 and Windows Phone 7.5. And now in Windows Phone 8, we are covering 181 countries. And regarding to the languages, in the previous version we were supporting only 24 languages for the phone. But now in Windows Phone 8, we are reaching 50 different languages. So it means if you need to, for example, have your phone in Arabic, now you can do it, but in the previous version you can't. Let me put you a very quick example about that. For that, I'm going to just create an application, new project, for a Windows Phone device this time. Okay, a normal one. In Windows Phone 8, that is the new operating system. And I just want to show you the Windows Phone device. We have a very good news for you. The emulator that we are using here is the whole operating system you can find in your hands in a real device. This is not a simulator, it's an emulator. There are two different things. The simulator is simulating your operating system, emulator is simulating a whole image of the operating system. Okay, so that's why it's so important to distinguish these two different things. I can run this on the emulator just very quick to show you one thing. Here, this is my emulator. In the next session, I want to show you the emulators we have and how to work with them. But this is my Windows Phone 8. This is my app. This is Windows Phone 8 with applications. I can play with the tiles as well. I can resize them. I can do this smaller with the small icons. I can play with them. So you can create your custom experience here. Similar than Windows 8, but we have an extra size of the small size. If you go to the settings, in the settings you can change the language for your phone. So the language is here, language and region. And in the language and region I can change the language of phone from English to American. Let's go to choose Arabic. Okay, and now we start the phone. So now the phone is restarting in a different language. I'm going to show you in the next session a demo of how to translate your application between different languages and change that automatically with the language you have in your phone. That is only 2 steps, very, very quick steps to do. And now your application and your phone is in Arabic. Okay, now everything is in Arabic here. I can just go to search and start typing there. Now I'm using the English keyboard and the Arabic keyboard by default, and you can add more keyboards here. You can use the Spanish keyboard, the French keyboard, okay, any keyboard you have there. We are supporting several keyboards. And in Windows 8 as well, we can have different keyboards. Let me show you how to do it. I think I can manage this here. Here. There. Just in this screen. I don't know why it's not creating another one, but if you just click on the Windows key and the space, you can see that you can change between English, Spanish, French, Arabic, other languages. Okay, you can install different keyboards for your computer. And you can just start typing, imagine that I'm typing here. Okay, I'm typing here. And now I'm typing Spanish. I can change that to Arabic. I can change that to English. I can change back again to Spanish. So this is so important for developers because also when you are using your new control, your text boxes, when you are typing the text box, depending on the language you are using, you will have spell checking by default with the language that you are using in that moment. Okay, and also every textbook is using copy, paste, cut, and select all by default. You don't have to implement it, and other controls that will show you later as well. So, but for me, it's the most important part that you have these languages available in this device, and also in Windows 8 you have several languages supported as well. So in the end, my recommendation for you is not only focus yourself on Windows 8. Okay, you have also Windows Phone 8 devices. I know that you can say, right now you have the share of devices in the market is few. Okay, it's even less than 10%. Depending on the country, you have more or less devices on Windows Phone. I know we were late when we started with Windows Phone. We were late because iPhone and Android were already there. So it was very difficult for us to start with this wonderful product. But if you have an application in different platforms, you have to think about Windows 8 and Windows Phone is also so important as Android and iOS. By now we have 670 million Windows 8 users, Windows 7 users. Some of these users are already on Windows 8. We sold 60 million licenses last month in total for Windows 8. Windows Phone 8, the only figures I have by now is that Nokia, for example, increased like 5 times the number of sales respecting with the previous year, and it's increasing and increasing in several countries. So you don't have to subestimate, in this case, Windows Phone or Windows 8, okay, because you want to have the application in every platform, even in Android, iPhone or iPad as well. So take that in consideration. But now in Windows Phone 8 we have 125,000 applications. Okay, and in Windows 8 we have more than 45,000 applications. This is the figures we are managing now. Question?
How do these figures compare with iPhone? How do these figures, what you are telling, compare with iPhone users, applications, apps, and all that?
If you want to compare this with iPhone, of course we have less number. But why?
Percentage-wise.
Sorry?
Percentage-wise, what fraction?
I don't know our stats. And looking at the IDC numbers, there you have the reports for video around the world. So IDC or other reports, you can see the radio share of these devices. And also compare as well with Migo and with Symbian devices as well. So you can see that it's not so much on Windows Phone devices. I don't know the last figures. That's why I don't want to share with them because I don't know. For me, this is we have a very huge number of apps. 185,000 is a very good number. It means that also you have space here to publish your application. You know the problem you have now? You go, for example, for the iPhone market, okay, Apple Store, and you try to publish an RSS feed, your application there. Do you know how many RSS feeds you can find there? Maybe 100, 200, 300. The same application you are going to publish there is already there, and maybe it's already free. So you need to think about how to improve your application to have extra features that can add more value to your app to get revenue from this application. Okay? If you go, for example, to the Android market, it's even worse because 80% of these applications are free. So you have to compete with free applications, and it's very, very difficult. You go here, you also have to compete with that. There are several free applications. The rate is almost around 69-70% of free applications there. And also you have pay applications, you have to pay for that. But you can compete with that. Why? Because you don't have here 1 million applications, you have 125. It's a huge number, but you have space there. In Windows 8, it's starting now. If you are the first on put your applications there, you can get several revenue from that. If you want to try to compete in a very popular, if you want to compete in a market where you have several applications with the same category, it's going to be very difficult for you to compete with them. Even if you use advertising, even if you use in-app marketing, or even you use other models, it's going to be very difficult for you to get revenue from that. So my recommendation now, Windows 8 is starting. Create your application on Windows 8. You can get revenue very, very fast from there. Second, with few effort, you can also have the same application running on Windows Phone 8 devices. It's going to cost you one extra week, maybe of work, not more. And you can also reach the phone devices or all the tablet devices. And the most important for me, Arabic. I know that this video is very important, Arabic. Do you know how many applications we have for Arabic? Few ones. We have few applications in Arabic. So now if you publish an application in Arabic, I can promise you that at least now you are going to be in the top 10 of applications in Arabic in the market because we don't have Arabic applications. We just start with Arabic applications. So for you, it's a very good opportunity there to be in the top applications. By the way, I'm the Windows 8 application lead and the Windows Phone application lead in this region. It means that if you want to be here, okay, in the spotlight for every category, like games, for example, or here, or in the most featured applications. In this case, I'm the guy that is looking after these top applications here. So I can see if your application is very relevant for your community. It's a very good application. You have a nice design. In this case, I can propose you to be there in the spotlight. I can promote your application there for 1 week, for 1 month, for 1 year. So now is the moment that you can take this moment and publish your application in the Windows 8 store. We are going to finish the session here. I'm going to continue explaining you more things during the next sessions. But just what are the next steps for all of you? The next steps are the next ones. If you want to start developing an application for Windows, the first point that you should go is the dev.windows.com. This is the most important website we have, dev.windows.com. Everything is there. The documentation, the MSDN documentation is there, okay? If you want to look for examples, you have more than 300 examples for every language, for every technology. Just open the sample for location, sample for Bluetooth, sample for the camera, and you have the source code there. In there you have the Windows Phone training kits, the Windows 8 training kits, the Hano Labs, virtual training, online training, books. So whatever you need to create applications is in there. And also, I will show you in the last session your dashboard to publish applications in the marketplace. Now it's called Windows Store and Windows Phone Store. There you can create your account and have your dashboard there. I will show you the dashboard later to take a quick look on what you can have in terms of, for example, analytics. And some other interesting links that you can follow to design your app, to form your app from different applications to this system, test your app, and the process you should follow to publish an application on the Windows Store. Okay, so that's all for this session. I have 2 extra minutes for questions if you have some. No questions? You can add a reference to other DLLs or companies for other languages. Okay, so that's not a problem. I can create a application in C#, create my components in C++ or in VB, and import them inside my application. But in this case, the peculiarity of C++ is that it's the same component for every platform. So once you have this component, you can use this component in Windows, Windows Phone, or Xbox. For example, for games, it's so cool because you can only have to create the game once, and the game is running in every platform. But if you go to, for example, Silicon Light, Windows Phone 8, Windows 8, or Windows Phone previous versions, you can create a portable class library, put inside this portable class library all your business logic, and you can reuse this library in every project you have. And it's a way to reuse your code. If you are working with C++ is native code, or you can create also application in C++ for Windows desktop apps. That's different. Any other question?
Is it possible to port these applications to iPhone, iOS?
It's the same portability you will find if you want to port application from Android to iOS. So you don't have portability possible. You have different languages, you have different technology and different design. So we have some tutorials and helpers that can help you to translate your application from one platform to the other. Try to reuse your assets, try to reuse your business logic. At first, you need to change the syntax. It's totally different. You're using Java and Android, you're using C# here or C++ here, and you have your own language as well for iOS. So you can port this code directly to there. If you're using C++ code, you can port it, but you need to change as well the APIs that you are using, because are different APIs. So every platform is totally different. So I know that this is difficult for you, because you want to have application in multiple platforms, in iPhone, in Android, in Windows Phone, in BlackBerry, and also in web. So the problem is you need a developer for every platform, or you can create an application, a web application in HTML5, or use one framework, multi-platform framework, like Monotax, for example, or like PhoneGap, and you can have the same application running across any platform. But you don't have the same flexibility you will find with a native application. But even here or in other platforms.
Like what we have with Java platforms across different operating systems. So is that sort of Java platform possible?
You have application in Java, it's not a problem, because C# the syntax is practically the same syntax that you're using in Java. C# are compatible with the syntax. But you need to change the APIs, and you need to change the reference of the project. Okay? And the programming way is different. So you have kind of compatibility, but it's not the same compatibility. You don't have any compatibility, direct compatibility between iOS, Android, and unless you use web design or web development. There you can port it.
Okay, one last question about launchers. You mentioned launchers. Can you please explain more about that, or what you mean by that?
I want to show you a little later, but launcher just is from your app, you can launch apps from your system, like the Contacts app, the Internet Explorer app, the SMS app, the email app, the calendar. So you can launch these applications. And when you launch the applications, you can pass parameters to these applications. That's good because you don't need to integrate these experiences on your phone. You can reuse these experiences already. For example, the map. You can drag and drop the map control and play with the map control. But what about if you just use the map application you have in the phone and just pass to the map application the location and the search them for the location and look, for example, for the coffee shops or cinemas and just launch the map application with the results there. You can do that. There's no need to implement this manually in your code, okay? Because you can launch these applications. These are launchers.
This is not a hack. This is not an app. Launcher is not an app.
Launcher is launching an application. For example, here I can launch from my code, I can launch the SMS application. And you will find here the recipients, the body, and the send button here, like here for example. You can feed all of these things from your code and launch this application, send the SMS and go back to your application. These are launchers. You have several. No, in this case what you can do is use deep linking for that. Deep link. To launch an application with some parts of your app. But with launchers you have the default launchers for the system. Okay, so we are going to stop the session now. The next session we have, let me show you again the agenda, please. Let me share the agenda here in Kuwait. Okay, we are here in the developer track. Okay, so this is Windows 8, Windows Phone. Now we have the break. It's 1:35, so here we are a bit late. But we have the break now. I'm going to back with tools for design and developing applications. Okay, we are going to show you the whole process to design an application with the different tools you can use during this process. So let's go to have a break now. Thank you.